So I want to show you guys these new cameras from StealthCam. This is the Revolver Pro 360. There's also the Revolver 360. And we've been using these things for several months now and really putting them through the paces. So we felt like now was a good time to show you sort of an unboxing as we have actual experience to be able to talk about the features and value. It sounded cool when we first heard about them, but I got to tell you, after many months of using them now, they're even better than we thought. So really quickly, the difference between the two cameras. This here's the Pro, this one's the 360. We have a 100-foot detection range versus an 80-foot detection range, 40 megapixel versus 36, 0.3 second trigger speed versus a 0.4. So this one's a little bit faster, a little bit better picture quality, a little bit more detection range. Differences in price slightly, so just depending on what you need, you can customize the camera to your needs. So this one here is the one I'm just going to show you right now. And I want to go through, well, let's start with the basic features. It's called a 360 because it literally takes pictures and detects movement 360 degrees around. It's really quite cool. The way they do that is with 6 zones. As you can see, each one of these black things is a zone. And so each of those zones has a sensor, senses motion. And so when it senses the motion, the camera moves to each of those 6 zones and takes a picture in each one of them. You mesh all those pictures together and you literally have a 360 degree image. It's very neat. But here's why it matters to you. Turkey scouting. This is where we first started using these things. It was so powerful for us because in the past, we've always put traditional cameras on the edge of a field. We had to put them on time-lapse mode, but turkeys love to walk the middle of fields. Unlike deer that will often walk edges, turkeys want to be right smack dab in the middle. And so these cameras on the edges just struggled to get decent images because turkeys are small, the vegetation grows up, it hides them. It just made it really difficult to be able to kind of really capture their movements. Well, these things, we can now place these right dead smack in the middle of a field, up on a knob or wherever to get the most visibility. Turn them on time-lapse mode, and these things are just taking pictures, surveilling the property, showing us where the turkeys are coming from, where they're going to, or where they're just mingling for the day. Even if you're running and gunning, you can get a picture of off the camera and know whether or not you're about to walk into a field with turkeys in it and spook them or not. It's very powerful. But the same thing is now true with velvet bucks. Right now, we're scouting them in the bean fields. And I got to tell you, we're using the exact same tactics we use for turkeys now for these bucks. So we're putting these cameras right in the middle of a bean field, and we're putting them on time-lapse mode, and we're watching the entire field. We're seeing where the bucks are coming out of, we're seeing the favorite corner that they like to eat, and we're seeing where they head off to in the end. It's giving us so much intel to help us figure out where we want to set up, to ambush them with a tree stand, a ground blind, or whatever the case might be. It's really quite cool. But here's the other thing. So with the 6 zones, you can actually shut zones off. You can customize this for whatever your needs might be. So let's say you set this up and there's a tree right here and there's a squirrel that goes up and down that tree 12 times a day and keeps taking pictures. Well, you can now shut off zone 4, for example, and say, I don't want it to detect or take images on zone 4, but it'll still work on all the other zones. Or you can do it whichever zone you need. Let's say you set it up on a building for home security or work security. You can now turn it into a 180 camera, shut off all your back zones, and it only detects pictures out front. And unlike a traditional camera, which is either wide angle but still not 180, this is now capturing all of your movement right along the building edge or along a tree line or a fence line. Same thing is true. Set it to 180 mode, and now you're capturing all of the movement as the deer walks the fence row, comes by the camera and leaves, versus a traditional camera that you had to point it along the fence row or point it out here, and you were just capturing a small little snippet of their travel pattern. So these have provided so much more customizability. The way we mount them, it does come with a bracket for mounting on a T-bar, but personally my problem with a T-bar is I can never seem to mount them perfectly straight. I hit a rock or whatever, and I always have a lean, and so therefore your camera has a lean. Well, these things now are really cool. Stealth has come out with these posts that mount into the ground. You mount your camera right onto the top of that. They sell solar panels as well. This is an add-on feature. You plug your solar panel in. It's getting powered by the sun all day long and taking pictures and powering your camera. We've literally been running these things for months and haven't put a single AA battery into them. These solar panels are game changers because now we're not spending our time driving out to reset them. We have no downtime because the cameras run 24/7, 7 days a week. They never run out of battery, and we're not putting our scent or disturbing the area. It's literally changed the surveillance game for us. Now let me show you real quick how they work. They're probably as simple as you could ever get. This is your ports for your batteries, so you put your batteries in here. Like I said, we haven't even been using them, though they do recommend them just in case your solar panel has any problems with sunlight or whatever. But simply, when you get in the bush, turn it on, you'll see your lights start to flash. Once those are all lit up, that tells you you've got battery, you've got signal, and you've got transmission happening. and then you hit your sync button. That'll take a picture, send it to your phone. So before you walk away, you already know that this is set up, taking pictures the way that you want. Folks, I can't tell you how much fun it's been seeing the way deer interact with a 360 degrees. So often you have a trail camera, take a picture of a deer here, but you have no idea what's going on around it. Think of a bait site or a feed site. You know, when you've got a doe at your corn pile or your apple pile, and a buck comes in and runs her off. Well, before he gets his picture taken, he's already run her off, and then he goes and skirts around it, not even intentionally, just the way it works. He goes and skirts around it to cut her off, and you never get his picture. Well, now you're gonna see what's at your bait pile, you're gonna see what's happening all in the peripheral. So much power, all in this little unit. And I think the biggest message is it lets you customize it for exactly what your needs are. And that's what I think is most powerful. But here's the one last thing before I end, don't go away. All of us have had a camera taken by a low-life thief. And this is now gonna change the game for them as well. So all you thieves, be on alert. Because unlike other cameras where you could sneak up behind them and open the camera from the back and flick it off or steal the SD card without the camera detecting you, there's no hidden spot here. There's no blind spot. You won't be able to sneak up to this camera because before you even get up to it close enough to flick the switch off, we've already got your picture on our phone. So stop trespassing, stop thieving, and get a job. But you know what, folks? I think you're gonna love these cameras as much as we have. You can buy them online, you can get them at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. I highly recommend you do. I think you're gonna love it.